What's up, everybody? Thanks again for stopping by for another edition of March 4th with Mike Bauman. I, of course, am your host, Mike Bauman. Whoever you are, wherever you are listening from, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. If you're a returning listener, I greatly appreciate your continued love and support. And if you're a brand new listener of the show, man, thank you so much for hopping aboard that pirate ship. You can follow me on Instagram at March 4th Pod, on YouTube at March 4th Pod. My website is march4th.podbean.com. The link tree with all of my stuff is in the podcast description for this episode. So if you made it here, that means you found me somehow. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you checking out another edition of the March 4th with Mike Bauman podcast. I hope that everybody's doing great. I hope that everybody had a great Turkey Day by the time you guys hear this. So happy belated Thanksgiving to you and yours. Hopefully, it means since I'm recording this before Thanksgiving that the Lions had a victory on Thanksgiving. They had a victory prior to Thanksgiving against the Chicago Bears. The Bears, they came back. They had to win that one. They were losing in that one most of the game and came back at the end. So, but that's what happens. So good teams find a way to win. So it's good to see a culture shift as a Lions fan, a longtime Detroit Lions fan in myself, and I'm hoping that everybody had a safe travel situation going home, seeing everybody, or going to see friends, friendsgiving, whatever you're doing for the holidays. I hope that everybody has a safe and fun time. Got a chance to see some family, eat some foods, watch some football, or whatever your family tradition is. I know a lot of people get the Christmas tree up even before Thanksgiving, man. So we always did it like the day after. We didn't get a real tree. We weren't a real tree home. We had the fake tree. You know what I'm saying? But that fake tree, it's been in the family for a while, man. So that was always a fun time. But yeah, hope everybody's doing well out there. I hope you guys close out the year on a high note, on a positive note. There's a lot to look forward to, man. Anytime you get to the end of the year and have a new one on the horizon, it's a chance for new beginnings. But I even saw something today from Mark Wahlberg where he's like, "Hey, man, don't if you've got like fitness goals, things like that, don't wait till the new year to do it. You've got 50 days left in the year to make something happen." You know what I mean? So, and I thought it was a good point. It's never too late to start making a change, and why not now? Why not today? So, I hope that this finds you well. I'm appreciative and very thankful in this holiday season, man, for everybody who's rocking with me, who's rocking with the podcast. Shout out again to Bold Journey, who featured me recently and did a cool Q&A for the show. The link to that is in my link tree if you want to check it out. And thank you to everybody who takes the time to like and subscribe, to share these shows, who tells a friend to tell a friend. All those things go a long way in helping the show get out to more people, man. So if you like what you hear, please do take the time to do that. You can holler at me on Instagram. You can leave a rating and review on Apple and or Spotify, whatever music service you use. All those things help these conversations get out to more people. And that's what I want, man. I want this show to grow in a positive way. There's so much negative content out there, so I'm not trying to sound self-righteous, but I take pride in giving you guys quality content with maybe artists or people you may have not been aware of before, and you get put on to new music and you go, oh, that's dope, or they have a story about persevering or moving forward, like the theme of this show, March 4th, and it inspires you to do the same in your life, man. So appreciate everybody who's rocking and rolling with the podcast. And on that note, this week's guest is a guy who I have a lot of respect for as a creator. He's very talented musically, and we hadn't caught up in a while, but we've continued to follow each other on social media and support each other from a distance. And when he had some new music that came out over the last year and a banger that came out a few months back, I was like, I got to get this dude back on, man. So this week's guest is none other than King Shampz out of Philadelphia, to be specific. And I know he'd want me to be specific, West Philly. And Shampz is a rapper, very talented, from the Dead Wrong Records imprint with his brother Azzan. And these guys have been cranking out heat, man. Like I said, it's been a couple of years since we caught up, but in 2022, they dropped Too Legit and MGM. And back in mid August, they dropped West Philly 187, which has gotten a lot of really great organic traffic and great response and reactions from different people out there on the internet, like Mike Powers, DJ Kawan, Demi D, among others. And King Shampz is a good dude, man. He got me in touch with Black, who he's done some work with, Anthony Church, who's also a friend of the pod and a guest of the pod, and has a great podcast and great imprint as well. And he's a great producer in his own right. Check out his stuff, man. Proven Knowledge. Shout out to Anthony Church and the Proven Knowledge family. I digress, but I got a lot of respect for Shamps, man, and what they're doing. And West Philly 187's a banger. I say 187 on the show, but I'm pretty sure it's 187. So forgive me, y'all. But West Philly 187, it was a great song. It is a great song. And the video they actually shot in West Philly, so it's got a really cool organic feel to it. And really what I like about conversations like this, man, is obviously King Shamps and I come from different walks of life and we come from different cities, different upbringings. But both of us have a passion for music. Both of us love music. Me as a podcaster, him as a rapper. And it's cool when you're able to connect with people from different environments and different walks of life and find that common ground in the things that bring you together, man. And this dude takes his art seriously, and he's a really talented dude. Not long before this show came out, they just dropped another single. King Shams just dropped another single like that, which came out on November 3rd. And West Philly 187 is actually the first video off of the upcoming Rise of Corleone album, which we talk about. And you guys will get more insight into the meaning of that name for that project, man. So just got a lot of respect for him and Azzan and what they're doing with Dead Wrong Records. And working with other artists like Black. And it's all about shining a light on where they're from, shining a light on both the good and the bad and where they're from, and telling an authentic story to connect with people, man, through art. And it's just really cool when you're able to connect with people, like I said, from different parts of the world, different parts of the country, different walks of life. And music is what brings you together. I'm somebody that, as a metalhead and as a rock guy as a kid, as I got older, especially in my 20s, I started to, excuse me, listen to more hip hop and get into more hip hop and rap and early 90s stuff. Um and what I love about King Shamps and what he's doing, and I tell him that on the show, um if it's not in the recording, we definitely talk about it. But what he's doing to me is it's in that spitter mode, you know what I mean, where lyrically he's coming with a lot of lyrical content, and it's different than a lot of the stuff that's, I guess you would say, is in the zeitgeist today. It's one of the reasons I love Shaw Calhoun too. Shout out to him and Danny Nono over at Big Eleanor Records, man, and what they're doing. But I like when there's unique voices in a time where stuff that's kind of like in the mainstream, so to speak, has a similar vibe. And that's not to knock anybody that's doing it right now, because I don't mean it as a diss or disrespect to anybody. Um, but it goes with any genre, whether it's pop, whether it's rock, whether it's metal, whether it's hip hop. The stuff that you hear, the stuff that gets out on the mainstream radio, there's common threads to it, right? And that's why it's there. But that doesn't mean that the stuff that maybe you're not hearing right now on mainstream radio isn't dope as well. And that's where I feel like a guy like King Shamps fits in, man, in terms of what he's doing, and the unique voice he has compared to a lot of the stuff that maybe you're listening to right now or that's out there right now. So, and we talk about that, man. And so I'm excited to give you guys this conversation. It was great to get him back on. And once again, man, it's all about connecting with people in a positive way. So without further ado, I'm gonna shut my big yapper and give you guys my conversation with King Shamps of West Philly. Here it is. All right, King Shamps, it's good to have you back on the show, dude. For real. Like I said, I was looking at my notes before I officially hit record. And the last time we talked was it was August of 21. And even though we've been following each other on Instagram and everything, it's been cool to see you growing in the time since we've talked. And you linked me up with Black, who's also worked with Anthony Church, as I was just saying. So it's cool to see this community out here of creators, man. And it's good to get you back on the show, especially with all the success of West Philly 187. So welcome back, dude.
Nah, man, it's great to be back, man. Back where I belong, man. Back home. You know what I mean? I really appreciate it, man. It's been dope. Just like you said, continuing to grow the movement, continue to grow um what we're doing here, building the culture, cultivating the culture and the identity of winning, man. And I'm just happy to have another day to do it, man. Another day to do it.
Yeah, so let's start there, man, with West Philly 187. I mean, the last time I looked, especially being an independent artist, and putting out the content that you're putting out, man, it's got almost 1,500 YouTube video views. There's a lot of people commenting on it. It came out in mid-August, and I've even seen it get love and reactions from like Mike Powers, DJ Kawan, Itch FM, Kishmeister, uh, Demi D. There's been a lot of people reacting to it, man. What's it been like to see such a positive reaction for what you guys put so much work into, man?
I mean, it's really really dope to see it. To be honest, because like you said, it's a constant grind, right? Like we're constantly working, we're constantly trying to figure out what we can do best to get the results that we're trying to get. You know what I mean? And I feel like with West Philly 187 is my first music video. You know what I mean? Ever. It was a really dope video. It was directed by Iron Solomon and New Vegas. If you're familiar with battle rap, Iron Solomon's a battle rap legend. He was on the set helping us out with shots, and it was a really dope experience. And to see that people, like you said, reacting to it the way they've been reacting to it, it's been a couple of months. Man, it's been refreshing because it's like, yo, like we've really been rapping well in elite for a long time. So it's time to get some of that goddamn due. The hell with that. It's time to shine, baby.
Yeah, because the last time we spoke, it was within a year of the release of Dawn of the Dead, that LP when that came out. Um and there was a lot of dope tracks on that. Boss Talk was, I think, probably my favorite if I had to pick a favorite. Forbes was also really good. Black was also on that one. You worked with
Yeah.
multiple people on that. So, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the artist who made it, but it seems like people are drawn to West Philly because of the authenticity to it. Like where you guys shot the music video, you're in West Philadelphia, you know, you're talking about stuff that really happens. Like, and I know from even speaking with you before, you've talked about, that was back when you were doing Shampz Word of the Day, and you've been through your struggles in life, but your message is one of being positive. And I think the lyrics, it kind of goes back to the days of when gangster rap was really, really prominent. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's the nostalgia pull from people who came from maybe that era in the 80s and 90s, but I also think it's the authenticity of actually talking about what it's like in West Philly. Do you feel that way as well? Do you think that has a lot to do with the reaction?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I think that if you do anything with authenticity and people see that you're actually genuine with where you're coming from, you really have no choice but to respect it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is real as it's going to get. I mean, like you said, it's shot in West Philly. You know what I'm saying? What you're seeing is constantly going on day in and day out. You know what I mean? The cops, the killings, the shootings, the violence, the whole neighborhood. We're just depicting where we come from in a certain kind of way, so people can kind of get a grasp of the music, get a grasp of the way we rap because of the environment that we come from. You know what I'm saying? Like we're writing from experiences, but we're writing from day to day life. So, like you said, going back to it, it's that level of authenticity that people are really getting. They're gravitating to it. You know what I'm saying? And I think when we drop this project, this Rise of Corleone, man, I think people are going to be amazed at not only the authenticity, but the level up of music, so to speak. Like you said, with Dawn of the Dead was a hellified project. It's nothing compared to Rise of Corleone. It's day and night. And I truly mean it. This is going to be some of the best work that's probably come out in the last decade, to be honest. I feel like we put a lot of time and a lot of work into it. And I think West Philly 187 was like a mission statement in a way. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, this is where we're coming from. This is where we're going. This is where we're at right now. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people are just gravitating towards the sound, man. It's been dope to see.
Yeah, and I mean, as somebody who lives there, man, like what are some of the things about and Black and I talked about it a little bit, just about how rough it is and the things that happen, but you know putting out a song like this, like you said, shining a light on it there. I mean, w- one, I guess I'd say, what is it like living there day to day? And then two, I mean, what do you want to see change, man? And how do you think that music and kind of what you're doing as an artist can kind of help promote the changes that you want to see?
First and foremost, bro, I always love your questions. They're so detailed, and I love that you just take your work that serious. It's just dope, first and foremost. So kudos
Hey,
to
man.
you, number one. And to answer the question, I feel like in order for things to change, things have to be brought to the light. And it has to be a certain level of accountability. It has to be a certain level of visibility where people actually see that these things are happening. This is a tough neighborhood. You know what I mean? And I always tell people if you can really make it out of West, you can make it anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a constant struggle, it's constant distractions, it's constant bullshit, to be frank and to be honest. So if you're a person that's focused, if you're a person that's motivated, um, then that should drive you alone to make the situation better, not only for yourself, but for the people that's around you. And I think when me and my brother Azzan built Dearborn Records, coming out of West Philly, it's like, yo, we want to be able to kind of help these people that can't help themselves. We want to be able to provide opportunities for these people who are not getting the opportunities provided to them at all. We want to kind of be able to translate our community where we come from, our experiences, and make it transition into some real game. So I feel like one of the main things that we can do, not only as an artist but as a label and in the community, is really come together, look at things, accept things for what they are, and say, okay, let's put a game plan together to be better. Let's put a game plan uh, uh, with the police and community relations and different things like that. Like really start doing the work in the right way. And I feel like us depicting West Philly that way, or rather showing West Philly that way, it starts the conversation. And that's all you really can do is start the conversation, put it in front of the people, and be able to say, okay, so this is what's wrong. What do we do now?
I appreciate the response, man, and thank you for the kind words. Because yeah, I think it, as somebody who's gotten into hip hop more as I've gotten older, it's like I think people don't realize what a battleground some of these neighborhoods are, man. And that even the people who live there, it's like, you don't want to wake up and see killings. You don't want to wake up and see people, struggling. You don't want to see people in poverty. You don't want to see people have a bad relationship with the police or the city. But I think people also don't realize what that daily grind is like. I don't know what it's like, but music, art of any kind, entertainment of any kind, I think it's a way to give people a window into that world and shine a light on it, and there's a difference between talking about it and being about it. Even where I came from and where I grew up in Toledo, that was one of the things to this day I still say that. And that's something I say to check myself too. If I want change in my own life, I'm like, well, don't talk about it. Be about it, man. Be about your business and what you want to change. So I think it's important for people to understand whether it's through rap, whether it's through any kind of music, art, movies, entertainment. These are all windows into real life, and a lot of times art can be a mirror to society at large, man. And in a way, I feel for people who are in environments like that, man, because like I said, I just think that so many people out there have no idea what that struggle is really like. Just having to look over your shoulder, worry, or, and like you said, worry about police, worry about those kind of things. So it's a long way of me saying, man, I'm glad that you're shedding a light on it. And I hope that through conversations like this, through the music that you're putting out, you and Azan, and the hard work that you guys are putting in and working with the other artists and producers and collaborators, that, it helps promote positive change, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's the goal. You know what I mean? The goal is to get better. The goal is to evolve. But in order for us to evolve, in order for us to get better, we have to look at what we're doing wrong. We have to look at where we're making the mistakes, and be able to say, okay, I've made that mistake. Let's go on ahead and build a game plan. Let's go on ahead and make the necessary steps to be better. You know what I mean? And through the music, I feel us building a certain kind of infrastructure where we can help not only our communities, but a lot of other communities that are like ours to win, to actually show a certain level of leadership, show a certain level of accountability, and understand that even though we've experienced all of these different things, we don't have to make it our entire lives. We don't have to make it our identity, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like right now with Dead Wrong Records and many like us, you know, we have to be the leaders of the new school, so to speak, and be able to show a certain level of leadership. And it starts with us. You know what I'm saying? It starts with us. It starts with us with the music and showing, you know, where we come from, showing that environment, showing how tough a lot of these inner city spots really get. And if, like you said, you want to change, you can't talk about it. You got to be about it, man. 100%.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, and there's a lot of examples in music and entertainment of people getting to a certain level where they can be in a position to give back. I think one of the biggest ones in hip hop is probably Snoop, right? Somebody who came from rough street life, but then had his football league and has helped put kids into college and give back to the
Yeah,
community. I think all of that's I think maybe that's one of the misconceptions about gangster rap and hip hop in general, or really any heavy music, because even heavy metal, I love heavy metal. And I know from the last time we talked, you grew up in a house where you were listening. I think you were even talking about like grunge, hip hop,
yeah,
all that stuff. But I feel like that's where heavy music and hip hop kind of share. They're almost like the redheaded stepchild. It's easy to point the finger at it, whether it's lyrics that deal with violence or stuff that happens in the street, or even heavy music with the imagery people often associate it, like in the 80s they called it the satanic panic, because of the demonic imagery and stuff. But I
mm,
I think one of the misconceptions that's shared between hip hop and heavy music is that number one, it's art, it's entertainment. But number two, that music not only shines a light on some real stuff that's actually happened, but it's also like a form of therapy and helps people get through stuff. You know what I mean? Like I even remember when my parents got divorced in 99, like music was one of the things that helped me through it. So again, it's a long way of me saying like I think it's easy to look at music that either has heavy imagery or heavy lyrics and go, "Oh man, like that's this or that's that." But it's like, well, but number one, have you lived it? Number two, some things are for entertainment and some things are shining a light, and sometimes it's both,
right.
and I think, like you said, if you can show people that, that's the biggest thing. Because as an artist, there's another artist who told me this recently, crossed out, like it's kind of part of what you do to be able to get people to question, and get people to react in a certain way. Like as an artist, I think that's important to do.
Word, it is. You know, you have to be able, um, and it goes back to that authenticity. It goes back to that level of you knowing your identity, you knowing what you want to go on ahead and do, and you want to know within yourself what message you want to go on ahead and get back, what message you want to kind of go on ahead and get out there. And like you said, with us, it's a little bit of both, where it's like, oh no, it's definitely entertainment, but it's definitely a message with this entertainment. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely something that we want to go on ahead and convey within this music because it's like, hey, this is our lives. These are our daily experiences of what we're going through. And that's what you're doing as an artist all the time, I believe, is you're constantly putting your identity, who you are truly. I mean, at least for real artists. You know, you got some people that will fabricate, you have certain people that will, put all kinds of shit together. You never quite know. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like for real folks, real, people that are honest with themselves, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? You want to go on ahead and put yourself through that music and show people where you coming from for sure.
Yeah, and you even have a line in West Philly 187 where you talk about that, about fake gangsters, fake people getting called out, like it'll reveal itself.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And people can sniff authenticity, especially people who are really into whatever that is, whether it's music or people who really come from a certain area, they know. Real recognizes real, as the old quote goes. But
That's a
um
fact.
as we're recording this, it is going to be out in November when it hits everybody's ears. But West Philly 187 was the first video off of the upcoming Rise of Corleone. And I know you've talked about on another podcast, maybe putting something out on Halloween. So not to spill the beans here and reveal anything you don't want to reveal just yet, King Shampz. But by the time this comes out in November, um, how much more new material do you think will be out by then? At least another single?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Initially, we were trying to go ahead and drop the whole project, Rise of Corleone, on Halloween. Due to a lot of different things behind the scenes, we weren't able to go in ahead and really do that distribution things, trying to get certain deals and certain things together. But for Halloween, for the 31st, oh baby, I got something for you. I got some work for you. I got some serious work for you. This record is about to tear the streets up, man. And I'm very excited to actually show people this new sound. And I'm gonna send you a sneak peek preview of it beforehand, so you can go on in here to actually see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a certain level of versatility that I believe a lot of artists cannot even show that I'm showing on this record. And it's about to be a movie, man. I'm excited. I'm excited as hell to really drop this and get the people back involved for the next installment. And for Rise of Corleone, as far as the release, we're looking at a November release. So when it comes out, everything's going to be lined up the way it needs to be lined up.
That's dope, man. What can you tell me and the people about the theme of Rise of Corleone? For people who are maybe unaware of either what you do or just in general. Is this kind of like, is this album gonna have like a theme to it? Is there a theme behind that name, or is each song kind of stand on its own?
It's definitely a thing. From the beginning, when I started to focus on making a title name for the project, Corleone's our neighborhood. That's what we call our neighborhood, where we come from in West Philly. And I said, well, why not just make it Rise of Corleone? The start of something, and it sounded like a gladiator movie. You know what I mean? It sounded like something that like the king's taking over some territory type shit. You know what I mean? I wanted to kind of put people in that kind of mode, winter is coming, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to like put you in that mode, that frame of mind where it's like, yo, like this is war. This is the kind of album where it's going to get you going. And I think from track to track, when people actually hear it and when it comes out, it's gonna make all the sense in the world. And when I was saying the rise, it's like, yo, it's the rise of us. It's the rise of Dead Wrong Records. It's the rise of King Shampz. It's the rise of us in the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's the start of it. It's the beginning, the rise of Corleone. So it's definitely going to be more and more chapters as we go on. But that was my mindset. What I was like, yo, I gotta make a fucking wavy title that really, embodies this music. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't want it to be, a title that really didn't give you nothing. Like don't when you say it, don't it just go off your tongue like butter, like Rise of Corleone. Like it's there. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you can get used to saying over and over again. I think that people are gonna really enjoy the project when it drops for sure.
And are you guys like, I think one of the cool things, and thanks again so much, King Shamps, for taking the time to do this, man. It's great catching up with you as always. And again,
Of course.
it's not lip service, dude. I really appreciate the mutual love and support for what each other's doing, man. And I got a lot of respect for what you're doing on the mic. Because especially in today's day and age, like I feel like your flow, Shaw Calhoun's another guy that I've had on the show, his flow, Black, like it's cool to see in the sea of kind of what's going on right now. It's cool to see hip hop kind of, I feel like there's old school flavor in all those names I just mentioned, yourself included. And I think it's cool to see that in today's generation, man, to see spitters, I digress. But seeing the music releases, I know people are doing different merch items. And you mentioned distribution. Is this something where you're trying to do hard copies of any of it, whether it's CDs, whether it's like a one-off run of like tapes? vinyl, any type of merch you're trying to do with this? And then second part of that, like, can you give me a taste of what the artwork is going to look like?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, first part, to answer that, we're definitely going to get the vinyl going. We're definitely going to get the hard copies going. We're definitely going to get hoodies, t-shirts, the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? We really, really want to put everything into the promo of this project. You know what I mean? And make sure that everything's done in a right and proficient and elite way. You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure that the shit gets out on time. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that everybody gets what they asked for. And we're working on that right now. Getting certain things together as far as being able to, distribute those items. And secondly, but the artwork, we're getting that together now. We're getting a couple of people to take some cracks at it because we want the artwork to look like how the project is going to go in and down. You know what I mean? Something that's going to stand out, something that's going to immediately catch your eyes and have a certain kind of impact. You know what I mean? We want to be able to impact your eyes as well as your ears. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the merch, excuse me, when it comes to the merch, when it comes to the artwork, we want everything to stand out a certain kind of way and make sure that again the promo is done in a proper way. Because you see a lot of artists drop, man, and they don't do good rollouts. You know what I mean? They don't have a lot of merch. They don't engage with the audience. They don't engage with the base that they're trying to go in here and bring in. And engaging can be anything. It could be, posting something on Instagram. It could be posting something on TikTok. It could be, you know, a myriad of things, but you have to be able to engage. You have to be able to have a certain kind of rollout. And the artwork is a point of that because it can draw different people in. Some people that may not have ever heard of your music before, they'll look at that artwork and be like, damn, like this is something intriguing. This is something that I may want to go in here to listen to. And then when you start talking about the merch, that's for the supporters and the people that you want to make support. You know what I'm saying? Through them listening to your music, like, oh shit, like I'm fucking with him. I'll buy that shirt. I'll buy that hat. I'll buy the album. I'll buy the CD. You know what I mean? The stickers, the vape pen. You know, like whatever it can be. So yeah, man, we're definitely trying to go in here and attack that on all angles. We should have the cover art done really, really soon. We're just taking a couple more cracks at it, but by November we should be ready.
Sweet. So everybody listening to this, by the time you hear it, keep an eye out, man, and I'll have the links in the podcast description for sure. Um, yeah, man, I think it's cool what you're doing too, because like you said, I didn't even realize with the title, like I didn't even realize that Corleone was the neighborhood that it was about. So I think that's dope. Um, are there any support locally? Like what's the local rap scene like in Philly? Not just in West Philly, but in Philly in general, like in terms of getting your name out there, hitting the ground running. Because for people who don't know about King Shampz, I'll say this and give him his flowers while he's on here. This dude networks, man. And he's a real dude. If you listen to him on the mic, like you can tell he comes from it, but he's also somebody who's kind. And I think that's important to come across too, man. Like being a king isn't about um stepping on people's throats. It's also about it, and really not about that at all. Being a king is really about lifting people up and being a leader. And I think what you're doing with Azzan and the record label and what you're doing with your music, man, and the way you interact with people, like he came across my path 2 years ago. We've stayed in touch. He's sent other people my way for the podcast. So I want to give you your flowers on that, man. But what is the scene like in Philly in terms of being an independent artist, an up and coming label, trying to get your name out there, trying to get radio support? Who do you like? What channels do you have to try to go through, man? Just to even maybe try to get some spins on local radio or get in touch with people in the community.
Well, first and foremost, bro, that really meant a lot to me what you just did, bro. I really, really appreciate that. You know what I mean? That made me smile. That made my day, to be honest. I really appreciate that, bro. And it's definitely all love and support. And I got your back 100%. You know what I'm saying? I got your back 100%. Us talking off air about a lot of different things going on in each other's lives and everything. Just know, bro, that we here, we rocking with you, we support you, man. Number one. So I really appreciate that. When you talk about this city, man, just to be honest, you got to do the same thing, like you said, network. You know what I mean? Nobody's handing you anything. Nobody's giving you any kind of opportunity. You kind of got to go out there and take it. You know what I'm saying? You kind of got to go out there and make it happen and make it work. Because it's a lot of rappers, but it's not a lot of leadership in the city as far as like different hubs where artists can get to the radio, artists can get to certain podcasts and certain things. You got them going on in the city, but I feel like it's a lot of bias and I feel like it's a lot of politics that go on in the city a lot. And I feel like everybody, especially from the inner city or just in a music game, period, can talk about the politics. I know you can talk about it, podcasting and building your platform and how, certain people can get certain things behind the scenes and certain people can't. Certain people have to build up a certain kind of organic fan base, whereas other people may just hit the ground running. You're like, well, damn, they just kind of came out of nowhere. What was going on? How did that happen? And it's no hate. You're just like, okay, if a fucking elephant magically appears behind me, I want to know what the hell's going on. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like in Philly, the issue's always been that, man. I feel like it's been a lot of politics and a lot of bullshit. But I feel like you can maneuver. I feel like you got a lot of different hubs that we've actually went through. WXPN covered a lot of our music. They're big in the Philadelphia area, big college radio. Glockaware, shout out to them, Glockaware Radio. They showed us a lot of love and support in the city. But we basically just network everywhere, man. Once we saw that trying to get in with the politics in the city didn't work, we said, well, shit, we're gonna make our politics around the world. You know what I mean? We became dignitaries and diplomats and kings for real. Kings just don't sit up there and try to focus on the village. You got to focus on expansion. You know what I'm saying? So network is your network. In order for you to start getting certain things going, you have to move out of other areas. And then, you'll eventually take over where you need to take over. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's very important for independent artists to understand the power network. Like you said, us coming across each other in 21, that's not working. That's building. Being able to say, hey, let's go in here and share our platforms and not only do that, but you're sharing your platform with me. Let me bring you some guests. Let me bring you some other people that are trying to go on ahead and push their shit forward. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like with Philly artists and any artist, it's really about networking. It's really about pushing and having a product that you feel comfortable behind and you feel that is worth some quality. You know what I'm saying? And then just push it, man. Just grind.
Sure. Well, and I want to hit you right back and say likewise, man. I appreciate the kind words for the show as well. And people don't know this, but some of the regular listeners might know this, but my grandma passed away about 2 months ago, and Shamps and I have been in touch, man. And he offered up a lot of kind words and was like, "Dude, we'll get in touch. We'll make it happen when everything's cool. Take care of everything with family." So, when I say King Shamps is a real one, he is a real one. So, for those of you who are a fan of hip hop, you can tell the work he's putting in on the mic, but outside of that, he's also a kind and gracious dude. And again, I think being a king, like you just said, man, it's about expansion, but it's also about how you treat other people. And I think you're proof that you can be a killer on the mic, but be a good dude as well. And for people even back in the day like me who used to watch, the word of the day when you would share kind words and stuff, man, like I think it's important, for people to know. And I think that's the power of music, and that's the power of even doing stuff like this, is that people can come from different backgrounds and different walks of life, but real recognizes real, man. So it's not lip service, dude. I really appreciate what you're doing, man.
100, man. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that, man. I'm just glad to be back in the space, man, because you done got fancy on me, man. You got all these guests coming through, man. I was sitting around. I said, God damn, baby. I said, when I'm gonna have my opportunity to come on back up here.
Hey, I don't forget about people, man. I don't forget about people. And yeah, and I'm a one man band over here. Outside of my day job in healthcare, like, I book the guests, I edit it, and I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, but just so people know, like, I book the
Nah, but be
guests.
real. No, you got to toot your horn. Nah, fuck that. Toot your horn.
So
Because I ain't seen nobody else come across playing it.
so yeah, so editing, putting the shows together, trying to promote it when it comes out. And one of the things that you inspire me with, man, is promotion, and really, really hitting the ground running it, and making a name for yourself. I think that's something I need to get better at, in terms of getting my name out there, not being afraid to put your name in front of people and say, hey, I'm confident in what I do, would love to have you on. And if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it, that's cool, but at least you tried. And I think you're a great example of not only networking, man, but building relationships in the right way. Cause, even sending Black my way, and I got to get him back on the show too, man. And I think that might have been how Anthony Church discovered me, cause he's worked with him. So, and I think you've done you work with Anthony Church too, I believe.
Yeah,
Cause
that's
we
my
talked about,
guy. Yep.
yeah, Anthony's doing really dope things as well, man. So yeah, it's all about having a good creative community, man. And I think that's one of the coolest things about today, compared to, like, if this were 1995, I would have had to have come across, a mixtape or something somehow, you know what I mean? It still would have been cool to find you, but I think that's the cool thing about modern technology is you can get in touch with good people like this a lot quicker, man.
100, 100, man. You got to look at the internet for the good things. You know what I mean? I know we can look at the internet for a lot of different bullshit, but one thing I can say about the internet is it's a tool for networking. It's a tool for building those relationships and those connections and friendships that can last a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we've been able to go on ahead and do that. And like you said, bro, and I'm glad that you said that. Continue to promote your shit, bro. Like continue to believe in your product and understand that you're putting out quality product, and continue to just reach out one step at a time. Like you're not going to build that confidence overnight. You know what I mean? This shit is work. Even for me to rap the way I rap and do the things that I do, I still build my confidence up every day to continue to go forward. So it's a step by step thing. And by the time you look up, you're like, damn, my listeners have went up. Damn, I've knocked out all these different interviews. Just step by step shit, man. You got it, man.
I appreciate it, dude. Well, King Shampz, at the time we have left, man, I don't want to chew your ear off too much and keep you too much longer, but it's fun talking with you. At the time this comes out, y'all, it'll be late November by the time this hits everybody's ears. So there's definitely going to be something new on Halloween, and maybe the full Rise of Corleone. But again, I'll have all the links in the podcast description. But what are you geeking out on right now, man? I mean, you mentioned the quality going from the last release, the last time we talked, Dawn of the Dead, to this one. It's going to be a step up, but along this journey, man, and obviously, like you said, it's about the rise of the neighborhood, the beginning of something awesome. What's been inspiring you, man, over these last couple of years? Because even outside of West Philly 187, from the last time we talked, you put out Too Legit, you put out MGM, both of which were produced by Azzan as well. Like, what have you been digging, man? Like, what's been inspiring you creatively, whether it's music, movies, real life stuff? I mean, what's it been like since the last time we talked, man?
Oh man, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. You know, life's a journey and life's a battle. You know what I'm saying? You waking up every day trying to fight this motherfucker and win the day. You know what I mean? Win the day, win the day, win the day. That's what I constantly tell myself. And just being motivated by life, being motivated by how I look at the game. I feel like the game right now is for the taking, man. I feel like rap is in the weakest place it's ever been, and I think that we as dead wrong records are kind of going to be like a hospital. You know what I mean? We're going to be reviving a lot of patients. We're going to be reviving a lot of ears. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what we're about to go on ahead and do. That's the trajectory, the plan that we got for the game. I think that's been motivating me, and what constantly keeps me motivated is being great, man. Like I want to be one of the greats. I want to be elite all the time. So regardless whatever is going on in my life, or different distractions that we all may go through, I consistently think of different ways I can get better. How can I evolve? How can I make my style the best it ever can be? And even when I get to that point, I know it's another level that I haven't reached. You know what I mean? So I've really been in competition with myself, been in competition with the ghost, so to speak, as far as the legends is concerned. And looking at, like I said, how weak the game is right now, the game for the taking, man. The music is hard. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of good music out right now. And for the people that are dropping good music, we want to be those flagship artists where it's like they're the ones that started the revolution. You know what I mean? We want to be Crispus Attucks without the hollow tip in the head type shit. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like he was the first one, but he set it off. That's how we were able to set this thing off. So that's how we're looking at it. You know what I mean? And that's really been motivating me. Just greatness, man. Just greatness. Being able to be elite, being able to, push myself every day to get to that greatness. And that's all, man. That's been pushing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you mentioned chasing the ghosts and chasing the greats, man. Like, I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick. If you had to put, let's say, five albums, and they don't even have to be rap. But since you're a rapper, if they are rap, that's cool. But if you had to put like five albums in a time capsule for somebody in another universe, and they had to hear it, and you were like, "Yo, this is the stuff that inspired King Shampz." What would those records be? What would those records be if you had to pick maybe five?
That's a hell of a fine question. I'm gonna pick a bunch. I'm gonna pick a bunch as far as like different genres for sure. Um, One I'm gonna go with Jimi Hendrix Band of Gypsies album. I'm gonna go with that. I feel like that's probably one of the greatest rock albums I've ever heard. I'd put it up there as the greatest rock album ever for what he was able to do in a short span of time with that group. Musically, the different changing of the notes, the transitions, the chord progressions, the whole 9 yards, I feel is the masterpiece. So I'll go with that at one. Um, Hip hop albums mm, that I would put. I'm definitely going to probably go with Illmatic. I'm gonna go with Illmatic by Nas. I'm gonna put that up there because I feel like that's a masterclass as far as lyricism, and I feel like he changed the trajectory of rap from it just being like party music to actually being like a fucking like skill set, like being a samurai, so to speak. I feel like Rakim and Coogee Rap laid that out for him in order for him to do that. But I feel like he did that and took it to the next level. So that'd be my second. Um, man, let me see. Let me see. Definitely going to drop a probably a Stevie Wonder album in there. I definitely got to put at least a Stevie Wonder album in there, and that could be songs in the key of life. We could go with that. Incredible work. I actually like his Blue Era too, where he had the Superwoman album. I believe that was like a real good dope cut off of there. So I'm gonna go with Stevie. Songs in the Kid Life. I'll probably go with that. Um, hmm. Now it gets a little tricky. It gets a
You
little
left.
tricky. I'm going between like hip hop and R&B and different rock albums and shit. And I'm like, I'm probably going to go with a Jay Z album too. I think I may go with the either the Black Album or Reasonable Doubt. I think I may just have to stick with Reasonable Doubt just because I feel like he was just at another level lyrically on there. So that would be my fourth. And fifth, if I had to show somebody like something about like music, um, hmm, probably anything from Motown. To be honest, anything from Motown. Like I would probably put together just one mixtape of just all of Motown shit and just be like, this is like music from like top to bottom. You know what I mean? Like you think of the plethora of artists that come from over there, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Rick James, the Four Tops, the Temptations, Diana Ross, so many different names, so many different people. So I would probably put like a collection all together for the fifth album of like Motown shit.
Those are good, man. As you're saying this, I was thinking like, man, like I feel like you got to put out a playlist of like your favorites like that. and tell people like, "Hey, man, this is like the King Shampz. This is like if you go to the restaurant and you're like, what do I order? You're like, yo, this is the special right here. This is all because I think it's cool. It's cool to see what inspires people. And like I said, I remember the last time we talked. You're like, yo, I'm a rapper, but dude, I've listened to all kinds of stuff, grunge and Jimi Hendrix and
Yeah.
and I and even if people are well versed enough in hip hop, I mean, they know like one thing that I always respect about it is just the amount of words MCs have to remember. I mean, writing a good song as hard as it is, but when it comes to rap and you think about the number of bars, the number of words, just in a song, forget an album, and the fact that you guys lock that all in your head and you're able to do it with your breath and get that out, like I don't know that people really respect the skill involved in that if they're not into hip hop music. But in addition to that, I mean, there's so many awesome samples throughout the years. I guess maybe that'd be my quick follow-up question. Do you have some favorite samples? Because like Juice World used Sting, but so did Nas. I don't know if it was on Illmatic, but he also used
Yeah, it was on.
Sting.
It was written. Yeah, it was
Yes.
written. The message. Yep, yep. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite verses by Nas. Man, he smoked this shit. So I know it.
So yeah, so
But
so
like
that so you have some other favorite samples, or ones
samples.
that stick out over the year.
Yeah, you know what? One of my favorite ones I like is actually by Cameron. It's off of the Killer Season album. It's called the Do Your Thing remix. And they actually sampled this Earth, Wind, and Fire song because I'm a big Earth, Wind, and Fire guy. The Way of the World. That's the way of the world. Like that shit, the way he like raps over it and the way the sample comes in is dope. And I think my second one that I love is another Jay-Z song. It's called Ignorant Shit. With him and Beanie Siegel, and that's off of American Gangster. And that samples the Osley Brothers In Between the Sheets record. And you've heard the In Between the Sheets record get sampled through Big. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Biggie did something to it. But I think I like that version better because it was like a hybrid sound to it. It was more like upbeat. So those would probably be two like sample joints that I like.
Yeah, and Cube was Whispers in the Dark, right? I think.
Yup. Yup.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, footsteps. Yeah, footsteps in the dark. Yup.
Dark Footsteps in the Dark. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that the guitar in that is sick, man. That is like one of the like I love metal and I love guitar, I love rock and roll, but yeah, that the guitar in that is just so awesome. Like people need to go listen to the original track too. Obviously what he did was insane. I mean, that's probably
Yeah.
like hip hop lore, but that sample, but that original song was sick, man. Shout out to the Isley Brothers.
Yeah,
Um
and just to quickly touch on the Ozzy brothers real quick, the brother Ernie basically was Jimi Hendrix's protege that plays the guitar for them. Because
I didn't
Jimi Hendrix, he initially was in the Ozzy brothers.
what? You're blowing my
Like,
mind right now. I had no idea.
bro, like way back in the day. Ron Osley and them told him, they was like, bro, you too good. Like, go do your own thing. Like, why are you playing background for us? But in the interim, Ernie Osley went on ahead and learned from him, and he became a legend in his own right on the guitar. So that's just like a little known fact.
Man, I did not know that. Well, thank you for bringing the knowledge, man. I need to go back and listen to that whole record now.
Yeah.
Um, and then the last thing I'll ask you, man, any stuff recently, like you said, you think the game is for the taking right now, and you want to be one of the artists that people look back on these releases and go, he was one of the guys changing it. But anything the last few years musically, and again, it doesn't have to be rap, but anything out there that you want to give a free plug outside of the stuff that you're doing with Rise of Corleone, anything that you're like, whether it's underground, whether it's a well-known artist where you're like, hey, I think people should check this out, something that's come out recently.
Oh, man. Um, no, no.
Nope.
I don't have one. And being totally honest, because I haven't heard anything that was enough for a listener to actually sit down and appreciate it as a work of art. I feel like guys have dropped some dope songs. I feel like guys have dropped some solid albums, but nothing that was like, whoa, you need to press play on and really sit down and listen because I feel like music is an experience. And if I'm going to refer you to something, I want to refer you to an experience. Just like how you was asking about like those different songs and different tracks, whether they're old school songs or new school songs, their experiences nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if I'm referring you to something, I actually take pride in giving you a good recommendation. And right now, no, I haven't really heard anything, bro. To be honest.
Hey man, I respect the honesty, man. I respect the honesty. And it sounds like from what you're saying then that Rise of Corleone, that's a front to back listen. You press play and it takes you on a trip. Am I correct on my presumption on that? That it's a front to back listen. It's a record it's got great singles, but it's one that you listen front to back. Cause that's something that, like you're saying, I always appreciate about like a good album. You know what I mean? Like when you start, you hit play and you want to listen to the whole thing. No
Oh yeah,
skips.
Rise of Corleone is definitely no skip. I guarantee that I stamped that because I know the work that we literally put in on that. I feel like people are going to enjoy it because it is a audio experience. You know what I mean? It's actually something that you'll put on from the flows to the cadences to the lyrics to the production to the ad libs, everything. The way it's sequenced, everything. Like people are going to be really, really impressed, and I think it's going to be one of those projects that you look back and you say, "Oh, that was the start of the Dead Wrong era. That was the thing that kind of went on ahead and set it off and propelled these guys into that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame kind of discussion, that Motown discussion, like those big time artists and producers and legends." You know what I mean? I feel like Rise of Corleone is going to be the start of that. And from front to back, people are not going to be disappointed at all. It's a work of art. It's definitely a masterpiece. And I feel like from the versatility of the project, people are really, really going to enjoy it for sure. It's definitely no skips. If anything, it's a playback. You're going to keep playing it back, guaranteed. And you're going to get something new each time.
Well, I just got a new car after like over a decade, man. It was time to get some new wheels, so I can't wait to listen to it in the car too, because that's when you really vibe out. When you
Oh,
got
yeah.
the in ears going, it's good too, just to zone out. But listening to it in the car, I'm excited about. Um, Well, King Shams, this has been awesome, dude. It's great reconnecting with you. I promise that next time I get you on, it won't be a 2 year gap. But I want to thank you again, man, genuinely, not for just taking the time to do the show, but for you and again for everybody listening, knowing what King Shams is like off the mic. He had kind words for me when it came to my grandma's passing and was real patient with getting this set up again. And you're a real one, dude. The theme of the show is perseverance and moving forward, and I feel like from the conversation that we had the first time we talked to this one, you're somebody that's really giving people, you know, a front row seat to West Philly, both good and bad in terms of what happens there. But trying to be a positive force in your neighborhood and put your neighborhood on the map with Rise of Corleone. So, genuinely, man, I got a lot of respect for you, and I'm happy you came back on. And like I said, you have my word; it won't be 2 years from the next time we get you back on, man.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. The pleasure's all mine, bro. I really appreciate you having me on for the first time. You know what I mean? And for the second time. And the third time gonna be the charm, man. We gonna do it big that third time, man.
Yeah. Hey, I'm trying to get into this video content, man. I need to kick myself in the butt. Like I was saying, don't talk about it, be about it. And I feel like I've been talking about for a while. I need to start doing video stuff and video clips. And I finally have a new computer. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one of my goals in the new year. But I'll put up the links in the podcast description, man. But let everybody know where they can find you if you're not aware of what you and Azzan are doing, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Follow me on Instagram, at King Shampz. That's KingShampz. Follow me on Twitter as well, KingShampz. We're constantly going to have all of the updates that you need for the music. We're dope follows. We always got some funny shit to say. We're actually going to be putting a lot more content up there, and I'm gonna bring back Shamp's word of the day. There's been so many people hit me up like, yo, like you just stopped doing it, like people need that encouragement, people need that positivity. And I'm like, you know what? I'm definitely going to delve back into that. So be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram. Check out our SoundCloud page at Dead Wrong Records, SoundCloud page. And then Rise of Corleone going to be out soon. So that's going to be on all streaming platforms. West Philly 187 is out now on YouTube. Go run that up. Continue to support that. Continue to listen to that. Go listen to some hip hop in its purest form. Go listen to masters at work. You know what I mean? I'm a samurai with this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So, make sure that you go ahead and check that out. And yeah, be on the lookout for Rise of Corleone. Halloween, we dropping this single. And we about to light this shit up, man. So, take this ride with us. Take this ride with us. Go follow us on all those social media platforms and keep your eyes open.
James, dude, thank you so much again for doing this, man. Keep in touch. I appreciate the kind words, and thanks again, man, for all the kind words about my grandpass and everything too, bro. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, bro. It's all love, man. We fam, man. So I appreciate you having me back.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, bro. Peace, man.
Alrighty, dighty, there you have it. That was my conversation with King Shampz of West Philly and the Dead Wrong Records imprint. Make sure you go follow him on Instagram at King_Shampz, and that is spelled SHAMPZ. The links to all of his stuff will be in the podcast description for this episode. So just scroll down to the bottom of that podcast description, hit those links, and go follow and support my friend King Shampz. You will not be disappointed if you love hip hop and rap, if you love spitters. This dude is doing his thing on the microphone. The proof is in the pudding. So go check out all of the singles, including the latest one, Like that just came out on November 3rd. Go run up the views on the video for West Philly 187 and go check out the previous work as well, too, man. Like I said, in 2022, him and Azzan dropped Too Legit and MGM. Both of those are dope tracks as well. Got a lot of respect for him, and keep an eye out on his socials for the upcoming Rise of Corleone album. King Shampz, I just want to say thanks again so much, dude, for taking the time to come back on the podcast. It's always great catching up with you. I really appreciate the mutual respect that we have for one another and the kind words that we shared with each other and the conversations that we've had both times that you've come on the show, man. And once again, thank you so much for the kind words as we were setting this bad boy up that you had for my grandma when my grandma passed away. Because we had this thing for people who may or may not be aware out there, but setting up this podcast, man, and I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back or toot my own horn. I'm just being real. But doing this podcast, man, I booked the guests. I get ready for the interviews and do my necessary research and homework. And even though I love music and stuff, it's not homework for me. I enjoy it. I digress, but I do that, do the conversation, edit it, put it all together, put it out on socials, share it with people, share it with the artists, put the graphic together. So it's a lot of work, man. And so I try to get these things set up, a couple months in advance if I can, if I'm really on my game, And Shamps and I had this in the works, really, during the summer. Not long after, I'd have to go back and look at our DMs and stuff, but not long after West Philly 187 came out, we were talking about doing a show together, and then my grandma passed away at the end of August, and he was like, "Dude, it's totally cool. I get it. Take time, be with your family. My thoughts and prayers are with you." And he was really cool, man. Like I said, I mean, we've never met in person. All of our communication has been online, but again, that's the beautiful thing about modern technology in this day and age that we live in, and social media, for the bad rap that it does get. And I might sound like a broken record a little bit when I'm saying this, but there is a lot of vitriol on social media, right? And there's a lot of haters out there. There's a lot of negative stuff, but there's also a lot of really good people like King Shamps, man. And so I feel very fortunate that in these times, and especially over these last couple of years, and just the things I've been through on a personal level, that I've been able to connect with so many awesome people and great artists like King Shamps, who's shining a light on where he's from, shining a light on his neighborhood, both the good and the bad, and putting out great artwork that people are connecting with, man, and great art that people are connecting with. And you look at the comments on the YouTube video for West Philly 187, man, and it's people who really appreciate what those guys are doing, and the art they're putting out there. Him and Azzan and everybody at Dead Wrong Records, that whole family, man. So I'm really grateful that his path and my path crossed, and we have that common thread of love of music and positivity. I'm excited that he's going to bring back the Shampz word of the day. That was something he used to do on his Instagram account, where every day he'd share, just positive words of advice, and it was cool. So I'm glad that he's bringing that back, man. And he's got a really unique voice too. I think, again, both, like I said at the jump, both in kind of rap that he's making and with his tone, his cadence. He's bringing something unique to the mic, man. So for you hip hop heads out there who maybe weren't aware of him before listening to this show, I hope you go check out more of his work. So once again, go follow him on Instagram at King_Shampz. The links to all of his stuff will be in the podcast description for this episode. Run up the streams on Like That, West Philly 187, and his other work, and go support him and Azzan and everybody at Dead Wrong Records, man. That is going to be a wrap for this week's episode. Once again, I want to say thank you to all of you who are listening. If this was your first time here, once again, welcome aboard the pirate ship. Um, and you can follow me on Instagram at March 4th Pod, on YouTube at March 4th Pod. My website is march4th.podbean.com. The links to all of my stuff are in the podcast description as well. So holler at me if you want to holler at me, man. If I don't get back to you right away, I will get back to you because I take pride on staying up on the communication, man. But thank you to everybody for the love and support, my close friends, family, the people I don't know out there who subscribe to this show, and the listeners that I have from different parts of the world outside of the United States, man. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And stay tough and stay kind, man. There's good and bad things that happen in life. There's good and bad things that'll come at you in waves. And I think I'm always a little bit more reflective as I get towards the end of the year, like we are right now, and in the holiday season, where I get a chance to catch up with family and friends that I don't really get to see the rest of the year, man. Especially being in your mid 30s like I am now. People having kids and families, and I got a buddy with three kids. One of them is out of the house already, and a young man. You know what I mean? Out of high school. It's a trip, man. Life comes at you fast, and I think the most important thing is to just be good to each other. I say it at the end of every episode as a tribute to my grandfather, but keep the faith and be kind to one another. That's a saying that I live by. It means a lot to me. And, don't forget that. Whether you're from West Philly, like King Shampz, whether you're from Toledo, like me, whether you're from the United States or another country, in another part of the world, man, we're all connected spiritually, in my opinion. Not to get too trippy here, but we are. We are all one at the end of the day, regardless of race, music genre, religious beliefs, political beliefs, all of that crap that gets in the way, man, and has resulted in violence and death and destruction. Let's focus on the things that make us alike and not the things that make us different. And I think if we do that, man, the world will be a much better place. And I've heard David Draymond from Disturbed talk about that before too. I think during their Believe album cycle. And even the artwork on that is a combination, I believe, of all these like religious symbols. You know what I mean? Uh, the world would be a better place if we all learn to love each other and be cool to each other, man. So, check out new art, go support your local musicians, go support your local artists, support podcasts like this, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, and let's be good to each other and put good content out in the world and good vibes out in the world, man. So, thank you to King Shampz. Thank you to all of you. Keep the faith and be kind to one another. Courtesy of King Shampz, here is the latest single, Like That. Peace.
Uh, 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 Corleone shit, get that dough, pimp them hoes, young nigga move that low, get that dough, pimp them hoes, young nigga move that dough, get that dough, pimp them hoes, young nigga move that low, get that dough, pimp them hoes, young nigga move that dough, young nigga move that dough, break down looking like so, try to fill the quota baking soda with the water and feeds to the order that's cold, I ain't never been no joke, bad bitch put her on a roll, got the rifle with the scope, kiss a nigga want smoke right now, I'ma get it with my lows, we gon' tuck it out, no doubt, heard the nigga getting money down south, I was on my grizzly way down to Bull City, getting hoes at the Wild Full House, paper and large amounts, now I don't do it for the cloud, I'm a West Philly pimp, fuck a hoe and a simp, y'all know what I'm talking about, can't talk with a gun in your mouth, too many homies make a nigga lose count, pretty red close like I'm rolls off the bounce, like I'm talking every take a look at my account, nigga that's facts, no brag, oh yes I'm in my bag, I got Ferraris, no Jags. lots of dough. Everywhere we go, shut down the stove. Kick a bitch out, I got to go. Feds on me, can't stop the flow. Getting that green, I love to grow. Fuck you think a nigga been slanging fofo. Get me a coupe and raise the dose.
Blow dope, the money like that. Just like that's what goes to the pussy like that. Just like that money blows to the people like that. Just like that's what goes, nigga, you ain't like that. Got clothes, the money like that. Just like that's what goes, you do it like that. Just like that money goes to the people like that. Just like that's what goes, my niggas like that.
Y'all nigga, yeah, moving up all the blow. Y'all niggas still hugging the corner stove. One stab and a nigga hit your hoe. Cocaine made this here possible. Stay strapped, y'all keep a calico. Oh no, I don't want no scary hoe. I need a damn ass bitch from my ass to a tit. Yeah, pimp don't miss. It's the glimmer and the glitz and I all blue whip. Yeah, like my whole stick, make them come but the clip. Make the fans sick, I've been blessed with a gift. Empty y'all clips, yeah, I'm gonna full rip. Whatever the reason, whenever the season. When the spring, summer, fall, or outlaw. I'm over the deep end, don't be your breathing. Guarantee that nigga will fall, I shot call. I'm going in, I ain't never letting up. A nigga from the mud, young nigga level up. You got one brick shit, nigga double up. All this money, I could never get enough. Spitting like Chris, I be yakking like I'm Puff. All the difference is I ain't really get the cuss. But bring it on my mind, I don't really give a fuck. Play with me, homie, on my hollows, leave you stuck.
Blow dope, the money like that. Just like that's what goes to the pussy like that. Just like that money blows to the people like that. Just like that's what goes, nigga, you ain't like that. Got clothes, the money like that. Just like that's what goes, you do it like that. Just like that money goes to the people like that. Just like that's goes, my niggas like that.
Corleone shit, get that dough, pimp them hoes. Y'all nigga move that low. Get that dough, pimp them hoes. Y'all nigga move that dough. Get that dough, pimp them hoes. Y'all nigga move that low. Get that dough, pimp them hoes. Y'all nigga move that low.